Hey everyone, this is OotiniCast episode 447, being recorded on the 13th of September 2022. And I'm Chill, I'm here with KittyKissz. This is the raw version of the show, and we will get going on the actual podcast here in just a moment. We're going to tweet out that the podcast is live, well, that the stream is live, and then get going on quote-unquote the actual show in just a moment. Again, this is the raw version of the show with all flubs and errors and any bugs out there, and then we clean up everything we can and we put it out as a podcast the next day. The raw version of the stream will also go out onto YouTube. All right. Oh. Get this. They don't get the link too well if you mistype things. All right, there we go. All right, I have tweeted it out, and we're just about ready to go with the regular show.
Well, let me tweet it out too.
Yay!
There we go.
Okay. All right. Let's see, this is way too big. I gotta shrink it down here some.
Shrink it down, yeah. Chill.
Did they changed OBS, the look? I did the update. Did you do an update of OBS recently, and it kind of changed how it looks?
I did not, because I always wait at least 6 months before I update anything that important.
Fair enough.
I've also been watching a lot of videos on YouTube about the update way before it happened, and they were saying that there were quite a few bugs, and the way I have mine set up, I don't want to take any chances.
Yeah, I've definitely learned the hard way. Like, don't update it like the day of the OotiniCast, because that has actually caused an issue or two in the past. And it's like, okay, now I've got to figure out how to get OBS to work the way I expect it to. Let me make sure. Yeah, everything, audio looks good. I think we're set to go.
I've done that with everything. You know,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I know I'm going live in 5 minutes.
Right. And of course, like every other time it's smooth. And then this, the one time it's like, oh, and now it's reset my audio and I have to figure out how to make that work.
Right. It's always audio.
Right. Oh my God. My stepson, it seems so weird to say that phrase, but yes, he's an adult, but he's my stepson. He lives in this house because he's 21. He's pretty young, and but he's making chicken dumplings for dinner tonight.
Ooh.
And the first bit of the smell of it just hit my nose just
now.
Oh
my
it was like
God.
Amazing. Yeah, that's such an amazing smell.
I love that.
Yeah, so good. All right. Anyway, I think we're good to go. And
good to go.
Go in 5. I'll have a little water and we'll go.
Water. Okay. That'll have to work.
Okay. Going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that is a part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. This is episode 447, being recorded on Tuesday, September 13th, 2022. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz.
Hey, Chill. Hello, chat.
Hey, it's just the two of us today, so what you been up to since the last show?
Well, we've been... Kitty and I... Actually, Kitty has taken on the job of painting the bathroom in the house that hasn't been painted since I painted it maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
And it's really kind of cool because I own the house. She's like, "What color do you want it?" And I went, "I don't care. I want to be surprised because, having owned the house for the last 20 something years, nothing's ever a surprise. There's never anything that I don't know what it's going to look like and stuff like that. So, she's been doing that, and I'm kind of excited, and I don't know if that's pathetic that I'm excited about a bathroom color, or if that means that my life is so on point.
Yeah. Welcome to adulthood.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't avoid it any longer.
No. I think that's like part of being an adult. And
what do you suspect? Do you have like a range? Did she give you like a range? She does know.
I saw the color. I saw the color. Okay. Yeah, she already went and got all the paint.
Oh, okay. I thought she was gonna like. You made it sound like she was really keeping a secret.
No, in fact, she kind of felt bad. She goes, we were talking about it on a walk, and she goes, well, I hope you like the color. And I'm like, well, what color is it? And she goes, it's blue. And I'm like, I don't like blue. Kind of joking. And feel bad. I feel bad
because you didn't mean it.
I didn't really mean it. And then she's like, I just, let's go get a different color. What color do you want? And I'm like, I really want you to choose it because I want a surprise. I want something that done in the house that is, I didn't have to make any decisions about. And she's like, you hate it. And I'm like, no, I don't. I swear I don't.
What kind of blue is it? Is it like a soft light blue or?
It's kind of like almost a grayish blue.
Okay.
I don't know. You'll have to go ride the toilet when you come over next time and really take in the bathroom.
Right. Is it like really gray, like gunmetal blue, or is it more kind of mostly blue with some gray? I guess we'll see.
It's half and half. It's hard to explain. Well, the reason why I wanted her to do it, not only because I wanted, we're going to be together she's the only one for me. We're going to be together forever. Yeah. And I want her to feel like the house is hers too. Right. So I thought that this
she has a space. Yeah.
Yeah. She's participating in making the house her own. So, but
exactly. Yeah.
Forgot where I was
much
going
better
with
than
that.
the way I put it. Making it sound like the bathroom was her space.
Yeah,
the bathroom's your corner.
That's where she goes at night when she sleeps. She just stands in the shower like Blair Witch. But yeah, so that's cool, and I'm excited about that. But what else? Oh, been doing the nightlife event. Did some nightlife with you, and I have to say, I did a little bit of nightlife by myself too, and I realized that when you and Kitty Treats and myself are doing it, whenever I hear something pop, we would always go, hey, what'd you get? What'd you get? And it's kind of cool when I heard something pop when I was doing it by myself yesterday, and I was like, oh man, I don't know what they won. I'm just gonna assume it's a Vectron, but it was kind of cool to get the immediate answer to the question. Ooh, what did they get? But yeah, so that's been fun. And then I made a realization after I was deciding to get rid of all of my the Emperor's tokens. So I was just getting rid of all the Emperor's tokens, and on the last one, I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. Yeah. All right, I got the stuff I wanted. I'm not going to go through all my other tunes and try to find whichever ones has the Emperor's token. I'm like, I'm done. Just walked away, and I'm like, all right, I'll wait till next year.
Well, the cool thing is like if there's something you desperately want next year, you might have some tokens that you can play extra, next time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, I had fun doing it, and I got the stuff I wanted. I got two mounts that I didn't know I wanted that I got, and a couple pets that I got that I didn't know I didn't want. Nice. Or I didn't know I wanted. So it was cool. And I was just
what were the mounts and pets? Which one springs to mind when you think of
one of the mounts looks like an old black Cadillac. What is it? Fleetwood. Mm-hmm. It's like it's got the big grill on it.
Right. It's also a Vectron. It's the black one though. Yeah.
Right. And
Magnus,
I think it's from. Yeah, I think it was a Magnus.
Yeah,
I think that was from the first. It's the first one.
It's OG. Yeah, it's from the first first Nightlife.
And I only have one of those, so I got another one. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I got the. I forgot which pet it was. I think it was a frog and a bird.
Okay.
But I really love the frog. I love frogs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And my main character is kind of her main companion is the frog companion. So any other kind of extra frogs or turtles that I can get, any amphibians, I guess, she's into. So I was stoked to get that. But it was kind of freeing almost, because I feel like there was a sprint to the finish line with a lot of players that I was hearing about, like, you gotta spend them all, you gotta get it. And then I know I have a bunch of Emperor's chips on other characters, but I was just like, I'm done. I was like, all right, cool. I can't wait till next year already. But it was pretty fun. And then of course we were PvPing together, myself, and Kitty Treats, and that was a time warp. When I forgot which day it was, but I remember we got on, and I swear it felt like 20 minutes. And we had been going for 3 hours.
I remember, you said it. I think it was only a few days ago, too. It was like last Saturday or something like that.
It was so fun, and it's...
Yeah, it really does go fast.
Yeah. Just the communication that we have, all right, I'm going to stun him. And you're like, okay, I'll get him another stun in about 6 seconds.
Right. Because my character has the bomb that AoE slows, but there's like a delay on it, which means when you say, I'm going to slow him, that means I can slow them like in the next global, but it'll actually take place like 3 globals, and they'll just be slowed for a long time.
Yeah. So it's just, I really love the pre-made, and the 3 of us we're pretty good.
Yeah. Like even before we got to the sort of the high end of the level area, once we hit like close to 40, we were really rocking it. But like we were punching above our weight for sure, even when we were in like the 20s, for example. And normally someone who's like 20 in the queue that goes up to 44 or 45 is like pretty weak. But we were winning most of the time from like 22 on or something like that. Yeah, it felt really nice.
Yeah, it was really.
Some of those
really
early
fun.
ones were a little rough.
Yeah, totally. And I with Kitty Treats being on tank, it's so awesome. I love having a tank. I kind of like having a tank more than a healer, because PvP, it feels like as soon as the opposing team sees that we have a healer, they're okay, we got to take out the healer. They know
they got to take out the healer, yeah.
But not a lot of players know that they need to take out the tank, because the tank is guarding someone else.
Yep.
And then she's throwing that her guard on whoever needs it at the time.
Yep.
And then
taunting.
Super fun.
Yeah, she was putting up like 500,000 protection numbers regularly towards especially towards the end, once she had guard, AoE taunt, and a few other sort of details. Yeah, it was good stuff.
she's also said that she loves it.
Okay.
She's really into it. So
That's
it's kind of cool that playing the game for 10 years, and there were times when I PvP'd pretty heavily, so many years ago, but it kind of feels new and rejuvenated, and like something that I'm
nice.
Looking forward to exploring a little bit more. And not to mention, we're halfway through our leveling.
Yeah, so exactly. So we can definitely keep leveling it. I mean, and what I might do is just, there's not the nightlife event, so we'll have to figure out if we're going to do, like we did a little bit of dailies on the last day, just because it wasn't popping very much, and we were getting tired of pulling on the machines all day. Ba-doo, 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 ba-doo.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. It's awesome. I can't wait to PvP again.
Yeah.
It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, that'll be good to do.
I made a new character.
Nice.
Her name is Kitty McWhiskers. She is a Sith pureblood Jedi marauder.
Nice.
And I don't know, every once in a while you make a character and I don't know what it is, but there's just like I think it's got to be the aesthetics, because the mechanics are all the same.
Right.
But I love it. There's something about it that I really, really, really like.
Nice.
So are
you doing it as a what story is what I'm asking?
Jedi Knight.
Jedi Knight. Okay.
Yeah.
But with marauder abilities, so a little angry, a little aggressive.
Well, whoa! Actually, you know what? Sentinel. I take that back. Jedi Sentinel. and I have a little backstory for her, and it's really cool. And I'm actually going to have her. She's body type 1, but at a certain point, she's going to grow into body type 2.
Oh, okay.
So, and we'll let
Right.
that's something that
So it's
myself.
like she's actually going to go from a Padawan to like a full adult sort of size.
Yeah.
Like she has a last growth spurt and whatever.
Right,
That's
right.
cool.
I'm thinking maybe around the end of the vanilla story, and then by the
Right.
What is that timeline, like 5 years or something like that?
Well, the big jump for the 5 years is the beginning of coffee when you get frozen, but your body wouldn't necessarily change because you're frozen. But there is some time. There's definitely like a few months around Makeb. There's a few months, after Makeb as well, before like Shadow of Revan, and there's Prelude to Shadow of Revan before Rishi actually hits and stuff like that. So yeah, it could be any time around there. You could just pick a time. It could even be when you're frozen, whatever.
Yeah, I could. I think I'm going to throw it into chat because that's kind of the fun, is to have chat involved too. And the character's bald, and there's a whole story behind why she's bald. And we might have hair on her, we might not have hair. It's kind of got some. It's got a bit of social reasoning behind it. It's just pretty fun, and getting chat involved, like
That's
I said,
cool.
is super, super fun.
Yeah.
And Kitty Treats and myself had our 1-year anniversary.
Yeah.
And
Aw.
we last year when she came for the first time to Portland, and we actually met and hung out, and we were like, okay, this is going to work out. We went on a long walk. And in fact, we went on many, many long walks. I like to just hit the streets and go walking.
Right.
And she does too. So blah, blah, blah. We went and did that. And there were certain landmarks that we hit on our first walk. And I thought, you know what? We could make it a tradition that we go on a walk every year for our anniversary. And we take pictures and videos in the same spots that we did on the first year.
Right.
And then, 10 years down the road, we'll have all these,
That'll be cool.
videos and
Yeah.
pictures of us in the same spot doing our
Right.
anniversary walk and stuff like that. So we did that, and it was super fun. We got home and got junk food and ate junk food, and I got a tummy ache. It was great. It was really, really, really fun.
That is really good. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's to the rest of my life and hers more.
Yay.
Yay. And that's it for me, Chill. I know
right.
you're gonna attempt a roll call if Twitch allows it.
If Twitch allows it. Well, it's only showing
Yeah.
a few names right now. Alice Dre, Evans04111, Immortalized Love, and that's Tsunami Safari, as are all here. Hello, everyone. And let's see. So yeah, I was also doing the Nightlife event and PvP leveling with you, but I also did have one character that I was doing it solo. That was the Chilminator. Basically did it as an Arnie cosplay. It was a lot of fun. He's body size 3, of course, and yeah, it was. He got up to. I think he's about to do Corellia because for a little while I was just staying in the Nightlife event, and then it's like, even though I'm streaming, it's like it's not as much fun as with you guys. So you can only sit and watch the machines being played for so long, and if that's all that's going on. So I decided to do the story, but still like queuing up for the PvP, and so that's how I found out that 45 is when it swaps to the higher level one. And boy, if you're in 45 and they're all 70 and above, you are pretty damn useless.
Yeah,
it's a pretty rough situation. So I'm kind of, I think what I'll probably do with him is maybe just do a little bit of leveling for a while, get him up to maybe the high 50s or something like that, and then we'll give it another go. Because I do feel like like I say, I can kind of punch above my weight because I do enough PvP and stuff like that. I at least I know what I'm doing, and I'm not completely valueless, but it's pretty rough for 40 something level characters going against 70 level something characters. It's not easy. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, so then there was the nightlife. This is over the last few days. So, gosh, I did not get the goggles in the last nightlife event at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, I really wanted to finally get them. And so over the weekend, I went through every character who might have played the nightlife event, which is it was literally dozens of characters, because I didn't know. It's not like I had records of what time of year I was leveling this character or that character or whatever. You know, the mains from the last expansion were sort of an obvious choice, and most of those did have some chips. But then the other ones that I leveled, most of them didn't have any. But then there was a couple that I leveled up clearly during the nightlife event. They had a bunch of chips, and I went and played them. And because of the time involved, I mostly did the max bet machines that are in the VIP. And yeah, they set them up weird. Like it definitely burns through the chips faster. It definitely does not feel like the original ones. Like, it takes a lot of time to play them down, but it does feel pretty good as you do them. Like, you feel like you're getting a certain amount and whatever. It's like, it's a lot more like, it's going to drain you a lot faster on the max bet machines, and it definitely doesn't necessarily feel as good. And the prizes are not really, they don't get any better. Like the max bet chips, you can transfer, you can go to the little guy, there's a little droid just like there is in the regular one. This one will actually let you not only just buy the chips, but you can take like 20 kingpin chips and then you turn into one max bet chip. So it's 20 for one, but you're not, if you win, you're not going to get 20 golden certificates or 20 claw droids or anything like that. You're going to get one golden certificate, or two sometimes, which you can get anyway, or like one Vectron or whatever. And so if you do the max bet kingpin machines, you don't get, at least I never got a max bet Emperor's chip. That never happened. Instead, what you do is you get one or sometimes two regular Emperor's chips. So you burn through kingpins really fast, because you can actually lose. You can actually and the coin goes away, and there's 20 kingpin chips gone away all at once. And if you quote unquote win, it says free chip, but it actually gives you back 15 and not 20. So you're actually only getting back 3/4 of your bet. So you definitely, you go down pretty quickly doing this.
Interesting.
And I did find that the feeling lucky buff definitely made an effect. So what I did is I bought some regular smugglers chips, and they have some regular smugglers machines in the VIP area.
Good idea.
Get the buff, and then just go play the max bet ones. And I did some. I kind of kept sort of very rough mental track. It was something like 4,000 total kingpin chips that I burned down. Yeah, doing this. And not a single goggles in sight. So, like I said, I went through every old character that even might have played the nightlife event. So, and by the way, I did, and this is when I took Chilminator and burned his down, because he had like 600 or so like that. Mm-hmm. Male body size 3 sucks in the VIP area of because they make the click size, the clickable area around the machine so small that there's only a few pixels where your character can actually be, where you can actually click the machine. So it's really, really difficult to actually play the machines on the VIP. Please expand the clickable area by a little bit. I beg you, devs, if you hear this. It's really rough. It's really rough.
They make life hard for body type 3.
Yeah.
We've experienced difficulties, getting datacrons, and body type 3 is getting stuck or can't move through a little space.
Yep. And there's no spot where you can sit between the two smugglers machines on about body size 3 and click both of them. There's none on the VIP area of the fleet. So I had to, and you can't even run left and run right, because it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You have to run out, click one. If you want to do more than one, you just run to the other one, click it, run to the other one. But you have to do it very specifically. You have to be in a very specific area. It's really annoying. So yes, I would love it if they would like take a look at that and maybe, you know, expand the clickable area or whatever. I don't know how you fix that.
Life is a hard body, Chill. Yeah, it's rough.
Exactly. But so we did that. So about 4,000 Kingpin tokens were burned by turning them into Kingpin max bet coins, no goggles. So then on Sunday, I got on my bank alt. I took 1,050,000,000 credits. So I got to play 7 max bet Emperor coins.
Yeah.
The max bet Emperor machine can and did give me 2 golden certificates twice. So I got 4 golden certificates out of 300 million credits on 2 of those pulls. So yes, you are not guaranteed to get something quote unquote good from the max bet Emperor machine. No. It isn't even like 20 golden certificates. It's 2. No. Yeah. 2. It's wow. It's like, wow, they really wanted this to be a really ugly credit sink. I can't imagine like actually doing this much. But the thing is, one of the things you can get from the max bet Emperor machine, and I did get it twice, was you can get 15 Emperor tokens. So I ended up getting 30 pulls on the Emperor machine. No goggles. So Jesus. I had gone through everything. I'd spent 1 billion credits.
1 billion credits.
I did the 30 extra pulls on the Emperor's machines, no goggles. Called it a day. But then there was yesterday on my banking alt, when I did the 30 pulls on the Emperor machine, I got 1,200 Kingpin tokens because you got 50 times the Kingpin tokens, and I got that a bunch of times. So I ended up with 1,200 Kingpins. So I turned that into 60 max bet Kingpin coins, and I played them, which gave me a total of 5 Emperor's pulls again. And on the 5th one, I got the goggles. Finally. And I took a screenshot. It's in the show notes, and she looks awesome. It's on my banking alt right now, but they're
nice.
They are legacy bound, so I might find a use for them later. It's a great effect. The effect on the goggles visor is really, really cool. I still think the actual design with the giant credit symbol in the middle, and there's like a chain that goes underneath, but it's like it's under the chin, which is weird because like I've seen people like wear their sunglasses and then they have the little strap that goes behind, so if the wind or something knocks off your glasses, you know, it just falls down on your neck and you don't lose your glasses. But this little chain thing is going under the chin, so it doesn't do anything. It's
for aesthetics.
It's just aesthetic, I guess. Yeah, it's very bizarre. But,
well, congrats.
Yeah, so I finally got it.
Finally.
Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah, so just for fun, I had a couple more Kingpins machines and whatever and just kind of burned them down. But and then she actually does still have some regular Kingpin coins because you know we got those back and blah blah blah, but I did not decide to burn those down all the way to 0. But yeah, that was quite a trick to get the one item. Yeah, but you know what?
Well,
I still have lots of credits. I'm still not, you know, there's still so many credits sloshing around in the game. But hey, there's 1 billion less than there was. You know, it was definitely a credit sink to some degree.
Now Kitty Treatsel can put the goggles on the video she made of you shooting lightning at the cartel market or the nightlife event machine.
That was really funny. So what Kitty's referring to is I put a picture up on the social media where I had eaten some licorice ice cream, and it's so dark that it turns your mouth sort of this green black, like basically black with just a little bit of green because they use a very dark green color apparently in it to make the licorice color, and it just turns your mouth absolutely black. My whole tongue was black, my teeth, but your teeth are turned black too, and I was like, it would make really good for like if you wanted to have a very quick effect for like as like a zombie costume or whatever. And then Kitty Treats turned that into a nice gif of me being like a Sith Lord essentially. It's pretty funny. Yes, but it finally worked. I finally got the goggles. They are mine.
Got it. Good.
So yes, my villain origin story was barely short-circuited. All right, we'll move on to the tip of the week. And let's see, Kitty, looks like you have a tip here you wanted to include here.
I do. This is just a little tip, but I was talking about doing this. I had a question during the stream last week, and the question was, does everybody know that you can quick travel, if you're on fleet, you can quick travel to the Cartel Bazaar? And a bunch of people said no. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that. I knew it, but it's like I always just mount up and go there anyway. But yeah, especially if you're like in the VIP area, it's nice that you can just, instead of waiting for the elevator.
Yeah, so if you're on fleet and you're going to want to go to the Cartel Bazaar or to any of the other travelable ships in the fleet, you can quick travel there.
Yeah.
And it's a great time saver.
Nice. All right. And let's see. We do have a couple of other tips here. Let's see. One, several tips really is from Kuze. Kuze, he gave an idea for the voice actor, so we'll talk about that in that segment of the show. Okay. Let's see. Tips of the week. 1. Running veteran mode flashpoints for prototype gear. You don't need to run master mode to get a piece of prototype gear to deconstruct for the Hyde and Zeke mission. I do recommend getting the conquest gear get up to at least 328, so you only need to level the flashpoint gear once. Veteran mode flashpoints are extremely easy, so don't worry about jumping in, and on average they only take about 20 minutes. Make sure to pick up the weekly while you're doing this. So There we go. So that's all the whole Hyde and Zeke thing that they added. Legendary implant achievements. You can find these achievements under feats of strength /advancement /legendary items. Basically, once you have one character that equips 2 level 330 implants, it reduces the tech fragment cost for all other characters by 4,000 down to 2,500. And then the same thing happens at level 334. Yeah, and in fact, I was going to do this tip until I saw him do this. Because what happens is, if you get... Because I originally got the 330 one, and then I saw, it doesn't actually lower the cost for the ones above that. And it doesn't, at least that version doesn't, but when you actually do get a character up to, so they have both of the 334 implants, then the price goes down from 332s and 334s as well. And at that point, everything is 2,500, which is a heck of a lot easier. Yeah. In fact, today I actually just finally got enough tech points. I went back and I had over 7,500, and I upgraded my last implant 3 times. And I was set, and for the tanks, for the second set of gear, which is my tank gear. So now both my DPS and my tank gear is all caught up, which was nice. Yeah, since they bumped it up, like a patch ago, basically, or an update ago. 3, Kuze has more. Using the Jawa intel for the Underworld Syndicate plans. So the Jawa is like that little semi-hidden one on the fleet, and you can give him some purple Jawa junk, and you can get this buff for like an hour, and you'll get more syndicate plan drops. The best places to farm what seems to have the best RNG and mob respawn times is as follows: Republic on Coruscant Black Sun sector, killing the Black Sun mobs; Empire on Nar Shaddaa lower and upper office atrium, killing Black Suns and Crimson Brotherhood mobs. I'd like to know if anyone else has farm locations. That makes sense because when you talk to the reputation person, they do say, basically that it's these plans can happen anywhere, but they're more likely to happen in high crime areas. So it makes sense that you'd see Black Sun and a lot of places on Nar Shaddaa, and other planets that sort of have a high criminal element are going to have more plans dropping for you. So it makes sense to not only find one that has a criminal element, but also has a pretty quick respawn rate. And yeah, like Coruscant, a lot of the lower level planets, because there just tends to be more people there doing missions or leveling or whatever, the respawn rates are pretty good on most of those planets. So I would definitely try those for sure.
Yeah, I used to go there to do the what was it called? Rampage.
Yeah,
that was my Rampage spot.
It's funny. There's still those Rampage buffs, but I haven't really seen too much of the Rampage thing lately.
I liked it when it said Rampage.
Yeah, and maybe it'll be back for like season 3 when that comes out. We don't know. We still don't have the time on that. We think it's going to be later in the year, just from several things they sort of indicated. but it's not clear exactly when. Anyway, let's see. 1 hour run on the pub side gave 47 Underworld Syndicate plans and 11 Emperor's Casino chips. Of course, it won't give the chips anymore because the event is now done. A 1 hour run on the Imp side did 45 Underworld Syndicate plans and 1 Emperor's Casino chip. So there's, yeah. You'll also occasionally get blue gear drops that will deconstruct into WZ-1s, which are the Warzone tokens. This is assuming you're like level 80. Mm-hmm. But, he's pretty much talking about this sort of thing anyway. 1 purple rep token that costs 20 Underworld Syndicate plans will grant around 1,150 rep with all rep boosts. So 100, which you can, you get rep boosts occasionally as a login bonus as well. So if you go to whatever character you're gathering those on, you can find those. So 100 Underworld Syndicate plans will max rep for the week. With average RNG, that would be about 2.5 hours of killing mobs with the Jawa intel. So there you go. Yeah, I find that, and that's it's a good tip, especially for people who maybe missed some or all of season 2, and they like the rep. But they don't, maybe they caught the end of the season. They have the companion, but they don't, there's no good way to get the rep anymore. Well, this is the only way to get the rep now. And so, yeah, that'd be a good way to do it. So thank you, Kuze. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks,
and
Kuze.
DL Smoothwolf, happy birthday to DL Smoothwolf. He's going to celebrate it with the Utini family today, but in reality, he's celebrating it next Tuesday. And Smoothwolf's tip of the week is that if you find yourself under-leveling in your class story, which is kind of hard these days, run a few dailies, flashpoints, heroics, and so on until you reach the acquired level requirements for that specific planet via the class or story arc or the planetary chain quest. That's all I have this week, and until then, sanity is a prison, let madness release you. Thank you, DL Smoothwolf.
Thanks, DL.
Yeah, and I will check with Kuze. Usually Kuze kind of like, he says, don't bother with giving me the prizes. So we'll just give it to Smoothwolf, especially since it's his birthday.
Sounds good.
So DL Smoothwolf, congratulations. Usually, and like I say, usually if there's more than one, it's random, but we're changing that because I know I've tried to give the prize to Kuze before and he always turns it down. So Smoothwolf, you are the winner of a Tonfon or MYA83 or droid pet code or a M2B9 droid code courtesy of BioWare plus a 450cc code as well, also from BioWare. Nice. So thank you.
Rats.
Yay, that'll move us on to the Mind Trap. And and since we were doing, the nightlife event, I wanted to ask which of the following recurring SWTOR events do you like the best? And yes, there are others. So the ones I included this time round were the Gree event, the Bounty Contract Week, the Rakghoul event, and Pirate Incursion. And the reason I did these 4 is, to me, they're the most similar. The other ones tend to be one time a year, like the the Life Day event, or the Nightlife event, or the Feast of Prosperity. And then the only other one that really is sort of recurring more than once a year is the Swoop event. But it kind of feels different from these 4 events. These 4 events, you're fighting mobs and stuff like that. Sometimes there's bosses, there's little missions that sort of involve fighting and stuff like that. The Swoop event is basically, in the story, there's a couple of fights, but whatever. It's basically all about the swoop racing.
Right.
I mean, you can get into fights because, you're on Tatooine and wherever, but, but it kind of feels different. So I decided, well, Twitter only allows 4 in a poll anyway, so we're going to include these 4, and then we can worry about the other ones later. So, Gree event, Bounty Contract Week, Rakghoul event, Pirate Incursion. Got 177 votes, not too bad. 17 retweets, so thank you very much for the retweets. And the winner was Bounty Contract Week with 33.9% of the vote. So people really like the Bounty Contract Week. The least one was the Pirate Incursion, which is kind of interesting to me because it's also the most recent. You'd think it'd be, it's not super recent anymore. It's a couple years old, but it's still like, out of these 4, it's easily the it's by like several years the youngest one. So you'd think it might have sort of the little shiny newness on it, but no, people really like the Bounty Contract Week. So 33.9% for Bounty Contract Week, 29.4% for Gree event, which was taken second. Rakghoul event was 19.8%, and Pirate Incursion was 16.9%. Still not a gigantic spread. There wasn't like one winner going away. There wasn't really like one of them getting none at all or anything like that. everyone of them seems to have their people's favorites. But yeah, Bounty Contract Week for me it was the Rakghoul event. I find it more kind of the most interesting. I like the little boss fight that I get to do with the guild sometimes. I like the fact that it travels from planet to planet. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. The Gree event I do like as well. Just the whole aesthetic of the Gree is very, very cool.
Yeah, I like
sort
it
of
too.
slightly Tron-like, effects and so on, and
Yeah.
some cool speeders you can get from that as well, stuff like that. For me, the Bounty Contract Week has never interested me much, but I see why people like it because like you get to actually play a bounty hunter. It actually tells you to go here, fight these people, and sometimes it's a very specific person, and it kind of does have a little of that feel of like hunting down, someone and actually taking them out or bringing them in frozen or whatever.
Yeah, it's cool.
Pretty cool. There's some fun things with the Pirating Incursion event too, and because it was one of the later ones, like there's a lot of like hidden achievements and little things you can do for that one for sure. So there's some guides out there. I think Swotorista has some pretty good event guides.
She does.
So like there's definitely some like hidden achievements that you can do on Pirate Incursion and stuff like that are worth checking out for sure. And yeah, so Rakghoul event for me. What about for you, Kitty?
I chose Bounty.
Okay.
The Bounty Contract Week.
You like hunting them down, huh?
Yeah, it feels very Star Warsy, and
right.
It also has really, really good rewards. There's
like the
armors.
bowcasters.
Yeah, there's bowcasters, which are really rare.
They're still rare in the game, and for a while, these was the only way to get them, really.
Mm-hmm.
Except for that very short period of time where you could take one off of Treek and actually use it.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
They removed that, though. You can't do it anymore.
There's a bunch of armor that I think is some of my favorite armor in the game.
Right, and it's sort of very heavy looking armor for the most part, right? Yeah.
There's decos which are very, very Star Warsy. You can get the the carbonite.
The carbonite.
Like people stuck in
victims,
carbonite
right.
and stick it in your stronghold. It's fun. It's quick too, and I
should do it some more because actually
it's pretty fun.
I've done it a few times over the years. I do it, I do a little bit, but I still have not gotten the rep all the way up, for example. Which means,
really?
Yeah, which tells you like I really haven't done it much. Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's see. So, Hyperbole wrote. Actually, I can't really read it. Oh, there, Fireblade. There we go. Fireblade actually wrote. My favorite isn't on the list of options, but of these, hunting pirates tends to be the best. So the Pirate Incursion is and there's
it's a fun one. I do like that one a lot.
There was some. I remember there's some heroic 2 like little ones that you could not solo. And I'm not sure if I don't think you still can, but it was pretty rough. But it's interesting. Let's see. Jedi Master Ashia Satur wrote, from time to time I do the Bounty Hunter Gree and Rakghoul. I would love Bounty Hunter on more planets like Zakul. Swoop Racing is the only one I don't do. The concept is good, but replaying isn't worth it to me. And not in this poll, but that's okay. Let's see. Yep, and there's a couple of people saying, yeah, these are kind of all old, and I don't really play them anymore. Fair enough. All right. And let's see. So let's go on to the Cantina Talk, and this one was suggested by Kuze. And nice. So Cantina Talk, we talk about we pick out a voice actor from the literally hundreds who have voiced for SWTOR over the years. And we've talked about Tara Strong, Nika Futterman, John DiMaggio, Tom Wilson, Darren Norris, Lacey Chabert, Kath Soucie, Darren DePaul, and David Hayter before. This time it's Steve Bloom. And Steve Bloom, as suggested by Kuze, he's done many voices. He tends towards sort of growly, manly men sort of characters and voices. So he, in SWTOR, he's Andronicus Revel, the Inquisitor companion, sort of the pirate guy. And if your character's female, it's your romance option. He does Baron Deathmark. If you do the war zones, you will definitely hear Baron Deathmark.
That's him. I thought that was someone else.
Yeah, and he does Fleet Admiral Ago. So when you have your alliances, well, he shows up he does show up earlier. He shows up, all the way in the original SWTOR as well. But Fleet Admiral Ago comes back in a big way once you have your alliance. He's one of the 4 big leaders of the alliance. So those like the 3 biggest lists, but the list just from the original SWTOR is huge. Like it's like 30 names long, and that's it just goes on and on. The one that stands out to me is Nock Drayan, because Nock Drayan from the Smuggler storyline is a real standout. He has a very gravelly voice. Great gravelly voice, Aisha, you have failed me. He has a very interesting. He puts a very interesting dialect in his voice too. And it's a really nasty character. It's very, very interesting. So I love him as Nock Drayan as well. Outside of SWTOR, he's been literally in hundreds of roles. Like
he's in everything.
He's been in tons of stuff. So Spike Spiegel in Cowboy Bebop, Wolverine in a large number of X-Men titles going back to 2004. So that wouldn't be like the original like 1990s, X-Men, the animated series one. But starting 2004, he's Wolverine pretty regularly. He's one of the main roles, Zeb Aurelius on Star Wars Rebels. So he's sort of the cat-looking, or sort of the really alien cat-looking guy, with the gravelly voice.
The Lasat.
Lasat, thank you. I can never remember that species name. He was in Diablo Immortal recently. He was on Star Wars Resistance. He even had a role in The Mandalorian as a voice for Spaceport Operator in Chapter 5, so that's pretty awesome. He's been Sub-Zero for Mortal Kombat 11. He was Jindeo on 13 episodes of Kung Fu Panda: The Paws of Destiny. He was in Red Dead Redemption 2. He was in 72 episodes of Naruto. And it goes on and on and on. He has one of the longest IMDb pages I've seen.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah. His first role was actually all the way back in 1978. He was in a TV series called Lupin the Third, in a character called the Old Shamanist. Since that was 1978, I'm guessing they aged him up some. I can't imagine he was that old at that point. But the next role was a few years later in 1981, and it was a voice. It was on Mobile Suit Gundam 1, so one of the original, like really, really old time sort of anime series.
Wow.
You're going way back if you're doing Mobile Suit Gundam 1.
Way back.
1981. So, and while he's done occasional live acting since, he basically went straight to voice work and never looked back, which is a theme that's common on Cantina Talk. A lot of our favorite voice actors, they started with a little bit of live action stuff. They ended up doing some voice work, and then they just realized that they could just do voice work, and that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, for a while in the 80s, he only had a role or 2 per year. Once he hit 1992, he's had multiple roles per year, and in some years he's put out dozens of performances. So, yeah, pretty amazing. You don't get this sort of career, including returning multiple times to the same roles and the same IPs, including SWTOR, without being a great professional actor. And, so... I'm also excited to see that he has a role in an upcoming series that hasn't come out yet. It's in production, called Goblins Animated. It's based on a webcomic that I've happened to have read for like a decade or longer.
Oh, really?
I have a link to it in the show notes, goblinscomic.com. It started, if you go all the way back and read it, you'll see it starts out as sort of like a D&D from the Goblin point of view webcomic with actual like D&D references to like
nice.
Savings rolls, and there's a character named Min Max and stuff like that. Like there's actual like D&D references. But then that was a long time ago, and it's sort of, and even though the characters are named the same, and in many ways are the same, but it sort of evolved over time into sort of its own thing, and it sort of dropped the overt D&D references, and it's just become its own fantasy series, and it's been very interesting. The art has gotten way more advanced over the years as the artist has gotten better.
Oh, I love that.
It's really interesting to watch. So yeah, goblinscomic.com. I was really excited. I don't know how long it's been in production. I know that I saw the first references to it maybe, 6 months or to a year, even maybe a year ago. So these things do take time. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how that goes. I don't even know where it's going to be put out. If it's going to be Netflix or Hulu or who knows. We'll see. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited
awesome.
to see it.
I
And
love
yeah,
that.
and he's got one of the roles in it. Core Kore is the character's name. So really excited to see that. Anyway, so yeah, Steve Bloom, he's Andronicus Rival, and he's Fleet Admiral Ego, he's Baron Deathmark, Noctrain, and like literally dozens of others. Baron Deathmark. I love him. So yeah, so that was really excellent. So there we go. All right, off to the holo feed. Let's see, did any of those other roles that actually, before we do that, is there any of the other roles that kind of stand out to you, Kitty, or do you just like
Zeb. I think.
Oh, okay. Well, Zeb, yeah, from Rebels, yeah.
Yeah, Zeb, because that's when he really kind of came on my radar as I identified him as the actor.
Right.
Because I'm like, that it sounds very familiar. And so, I got on the internet and checked it out, and I'm like, okay, that guy. Okay. And then saw how many things he was in. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's like,
he's also.
Did you see at that time that he was in SWTOR, or did you see like something else that you had seen?
In fact, I didn't even know he was in SWTOR.
Oh, okay, there you go.
I'm learning it right now with everyone else.
That's cool. Yeah, Riri saying he also voices Anti-Venom in Spider-Man: Edge of Time. So that's pretty cool. Yeah,
Nice.
he's in like a ton of very well-known IPs.
Yeah. He was
in some World of Warcraft stuff that I didn't mention. Yeah, crazy amounts of stuff. His IMDb page is a mile long.
For whatever reason, I don't know why, the guy, it looks super familiar to me. I don't know why. Maybe he acted in something that I don't remember or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. He stands out for some weird reason. I don't know. Probably just coincidence, but yeah. Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, onto the holo feed. Let's see. So we talked about the planned balance changes last episode, and let's see. Chris Durrell followed up with it. There's some of it. He mentions, for example, that there were Sorcerer's Sage changes, which will be added to the list, but I checked and we had already talked about them in the last episode. The second one is the new AP Tactics Tactical. I accidentally wrote an older design description to that, which has since been changed. The cooldown reset that would have occurred to reset the thermal detonator actually now affects Rocket Punch instead. So that part of the tactical now reads: Energy Burst. The cooldown of Rocket Punch is reset. So your next Rocket Punch costs no heat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. As a final point, the reactive substance mod change does not have value since we can't communicate that very well on the forums, but power-wise, a single stack of reactive substance would be similar to one Kolto wave stick. You can stack it twice on a single target and get 2 times the effect whenever damage is dealt to them. So this is that version where it was like you place it on them, and then when they take damage, they get healed. And it's a little bit, which the Bounty Hunter has something similar, only this one, it can stack twice, but it sounds like when it gets used all at once, and it just heals twice as much. But then you have to replace it. It's not like it doesn't have multiple stacks that only get used one at a time. So it's either going to get used or it's either on it or not, and it gets used all at once. So it's kind of, at least that makes it a little more different from the mercenary / commando version, which is pretty cool. And let's see. And then he also had another update following the planned balance changes. Again, this is Chris Durrell. We're looking into making some changes or redesigning the Sorcerer's AoE tactical. As we understand, some people have concerns with the usefulness of slow and also introducing more slows into the game. Also wanted to take a moment to address some assassin tank concerns as well. So this is the Shadow on the Jedi side, or assassin tank. The intention of removing the DR from Severing Slash was simply not to force that choice on all tanks, but seeing as some players are feeling that's too much right now, we've decided to roll back that change for 711 in a future tank balance pass. More on that later. We may circle back to this and address it in another way. If we do end up changing the functionality of Severing Slash, it's important for us that we give the mitigation back somewhere else. So for now, we're going to leave it as it currently stands, with the understanding that it probably will be the most popular choice for assassin tanks, and we will do a pass on that whole choice row in a future balance pass.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. As for the DPS nerfs, we realize some of them come off as very major, but I can assure you we're constantly reassessing these classes, and all this is subject to change. While I can't give any specific details, know that we're continuing to tune these classes. A good suggestion I saw on the forums was increasing Concealment's tactical critical from 6 seconds to 8 seconds. Quality of life changes like that make the class easier to play, as well as our improvements we can augment the changes we are making to their DPS output. And finally, we continue to look at operation difficulty. The team continues to tweak and adjust R4 and other operations to ensure a fair balance. We realize any class changes affect that, and we're trying to account for them as best we can. So there we go. So they're anytime you see balance changes, this is the sort of thing they have to talk about all the time. Let's see.
Constant battle.
Yep.
Between getting everybody all set.
Yeah. Exactly. And like every little change, it affects things, because even other classes, because in PvP they're going to be fighting that class, or in an operation, it's like, well, you've just changed this class, now this similar class, not very similar class, but maybe healer or range DPS, all of a sudden, should we be taking this class instead of that class into the operation? And it can affect people for sure.
Mm-hmm. And it's never ending.
Yeah. And Christorel had yet another one. I wanted to share a few changes we've decided after doing some additional internal balance and taking feedback into consideration. The first note, we're changing the new Madness Orc tactical from the design in the original post to demolish hits all nearby targets affected by your death mark. That's interesting. So if you do the demolish, affected by your death mark. So your death mark, it's sort of that I think that's the one that goes. Yeah, I think it's like. The AoE boom goes down and it puts the death mark on them, which basically makes your dots tick harder. I believe that's the one that they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And then demolish will now hit anyone affected. Will hit all nearby targets affected by death mark. So that's kind of cool. We're also giving a darkness back there, DR and suffering slash. Okay, we already talked about that one. Another change we're making to hatred concerns changes to another passive mod choice, Hungering Force. Hungering Force now reads, the critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and life stolen of your periodic damaging effects is increased by 10% whenever you are healed by a hatred discipline effect. You generate 2 force. It's worth noting that Hungering Force has always generated 2 force. Its tooltip has, however, been incorrect since the 7.0 launch. However, the life steal component is new. So Hungering Force generates has been and still is apparently generating 2 force, but its tooltip is going to be corrected. But it will also now have a lifesteal component, so that's kind of cool. And let's see. Finally, a small change for Concealment Operative, increasing the duration of tactical critical passive from 6 seconds to 8 seconds. So they ended up making that change. This will allow players easier uptime. And I've noticed like there are certain things, tactical critical, not the tactical critical, but on the current spec that I'm leveling She-Hulk on, there's this one thing where if you crit with direct damage, it increases your crit chance by 2%, and it can stack up to 5 times, so you can get 10%. But it only lasts 4 seconds. So it's basically 2 globals, not even 3 globals. You have to get it inside 2 globals. And if you do a dot, that's not direct damage. It's not a direct damage attack. Or if you use your Blood Boiler, that doesn't do damage up front. So it's really easy for these stacks to fall off because they fall off right away practically. So it's really hard to get up to 5 stacks. And the only way to really do it is you hit your pugnacity and it gives you the 5 stacks. But then after 4 seconds, if you haven't crit again, they just go away anyway. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough keeping those stacks up. Yeah. I'm not sure why it's like that, but it feels pretty rough trying. Like a lot of times I just don't have that buff up at all. If I haven't happened to crit with a direct attack in the last 4 seconds, it's just not there anymore. And then, so usually I have like 1 stack of it. It's basically worth 2% crit to me. Is what it's usually worth. And then after I pop to pugnacity, then it's 10% for probably 4 seconds, unless I happen to crit, and then I can extend it. But it's really tough to keep those stacks up. It does not happen very easily. There was I didn't want to go into like the whole thread that was on the original forums, but but Ashley Rule and Caitlin Sullivan did of the dev teams did sort of pop in to talk about which of the romanceable companions would you want to date in real life?
Hey, wait a minute.
Which is a pretty fun topic. Yeah.
I tweeted that like a month ago.
Oh, there you go. Well, there you go, Kitty. And what did you say?
Oh, I think I was Vet.
Okay. And it looks like this made it on. Someone put this on the forums, and now the devs are talking about it. So funny. There you go. So Ashley Rule said, I think for me it depends on if it's long-term versus short-term dating. If it's a weekend fling full of hijinks and laughs with someone who knows the best of dive bars, I'd date Vet. For a committed relationship, stability with a partner who challenges you as well as support you, I would date Eric Jorgen. It's actually both Jorgen. Pretty good choices.
Kitty Treats likes Eric Jorgen too.
There you go.
He rubs me the wrong way.
Sometimes he does me too. I actually liked him a lot better after Kotfi came out and he came back, and you see more of him in the story because he gets demoted like very early in the story, and he's very grumpy about it, and he because of that he brings it up a few times in your on ship communication with him. He comes across as very grumpy and very sort of like very sort of prickly and a little unpleasant sometimes, but yeah, if that doesn't bother you, then the rest of it is actually pretty cool. But it makes it a little hard to do the romance arc on him, I guess. And while dating spy boyfriend Theron would definitely be fun to think about, I feel it'd be hard to get a date with him with his ridiculous work schedule. Kind of true. It'd be like, because he'd be out doing missions all the time, so he'd be gone all the time. So that was Ashley who said that. And then Caitlin Sullivan said, I agree with Ashley. We have so many companions all over the spectrum of personalities, egos, motivations, and desires that it's fun to see the discussion around everyone's likes and dislikes. I may be a bit biased about our fearless Raven squad leader, but I think Henri would be a blast to be around. I appreciate people who can crack snarky jokes with me, and she likes gardening, which is a great hobby. I would definitely date Vector Hylas, but maybe before his joining. I will 100% admit I would be a little unnerved by the whole hive mind listening in. But it would be hard to pass up spending time with such an accepting, thoughtful, and well-traveled person. I mean, he's on the diplomatic corps before he joins, you. Out of everyone, I feel like he has the most fascinating stories to share.
He's a good romance in the game, too.
Yeah.
He's an interesting one. Best, yeah.
Also, I feel very validated that I saw someone else mention Sanju Pine. When I first played the Imperial Agent story many years ago, I was excited for that dashing smooth talker to join my team. So it's one of those side mission ones that you get to have a little romance arc with. That's always really fun too. Yeah. So what
about you, Chill?
Let's see. I like Dorn. Alana Dorn is really amazing. Like, because she has like such an interesting backstory, a lovely voice, with the accent and everything.
Force sensitive.
Yeah, and kind of like Eric Jorgen, she would be sort of someone who could sort of like put you in your place when you need to be put in your place, but also support you when you needed to be supported. I feel like she'd be kind of along that same line too. Vet would be a lot of fun. And Kira is pretty cool too.
Kira,
actually, yeah.
Crazy Jasa.
Yeah, Crazy Jasa, boy, that would be a short-term relationship, I tell you.
Very short. Dead.
Yeah, and if I was a Force user, then I could see Lana maybe. I think it'd be pretty intimidating being a non-Force user and then romancing Lana Beniko. She's very powerful, yeah. And actually, I think Arkin is an interesting romance. Like I've done the romance arc on him a couple times now, and it's like it actually was even better the second time. And also, although I like Risha, Kemval, right? Some people actually really like the Kemval thing, and hey, if you're there for it, I like Risha a lot. But I must say, when I did the Akavi Spar romance arc. it gave me a much more appreciation for that character, because there's definitely a lot of little nuances to her character you don't really get during the main part of the story with her. So that actually made me like her a lot better. So yeah. Anyway, so that was kind of fun. It's kind of funny. I wonder if they in fact did, like, someone actually took your Twitter thread and then put it on the forums. I wonder if that's how that happened, or maybe it just got people thinking about it, and then someone did put it on the forums.
I don't think it's an original thought, but
no.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a fun little exercise.
Oh yeah, Tsunami says Reina Temple. I like Reina too.
Reina Temple.
Yeah,
she's good.
Yeah, and Reina Temple, she looks awesome too. Like she's like one of the only characters who comes back after Coffee Kotet in the exact same outfit, and I don't care. Like, she looks awesome.
Oh, she does.
She does. She has the same gray sort of bodysuit look that she had originally.
I think she would be a very. She seems like a bureaucrat. It seems like you would have a syllabus if you were dating her. Like, okay, we're gonna get up at 6:45. We're gonna do and then we're gonna be in bed by 9:30. Just like, oh my god.
Oh, that's funny. All right, the other big Star Wars thing was that there's a whole Disney Palooza that came out, and we won't talk about the non-Star Wars stuff, but there's tons of that too. But yeah, they had the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. I have a YouTube link in the show notes. Andor official trailer came out also. Also have the YouTube trailer link in the show notes. The live version of Ahsoka is in the works. It's actually being filmed and stuff right now. It's meant to be on Disney Plus in 2023. We found out that Jude Law is going to be in the show Skeleton Crew, which is interesting. There's going to be this is going to come out pretty soon on October 26th. There's going to be 6 animated shorts about Ahsoka and Dooku called Tales of the Jedi.
Oh, cool.
So 6 animated shorts.
So cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking those out. Again, October 26th, just a little over a month away. And finally, there's going to be something more directly aimed at kids. Like they always say, Star Wars is at its heart, a kid's thing, which is fine. Because it's one of those things that adults certainly enjoy as well. But this one's clearly like aimed more at kids. It's called Young Jedi Adventures. It's aimed at kids, like I said, and it's set in the High Republic era. So that's kind of interesting. For me, that'll be like the first real thing that I've really gotten into in the High Republic. I've listened to one of the novels, but I haven't gone back to it yet. And it'll be the first sort of visual sort of thing that I will have seen of it. And that's going to be out in 2023 as well. So have you seen the 2 trailers, the Mandalorian Season 3 or the Andor official trailer, Kitty, or both of those?
I haven't seen the Andor one. I have seen the Mandalorian one.
Right.
And I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm really, really, really looking forward to Andor. So at this point, now that we're getting closer, I tend to step back from social media. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to get any spoilers and that kind of stuff. But I can't wait for Andor. And then, of course, Mandalorian. I've enjoyed every season of The Mandalorian.
Right.
Who doesn't love that baby Yoda?
I'm looking forward to that. Yep. I love there's one shot in the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer that's just like a tree and it has like 20 Kowakian monkey lizards in it.
That's funny that you say that because when that came up, I went, ah! Like I yelled out, ah! It's a tree full of monkeys. I always call I don't call them Kowakian. I always, for whatever reason, because I'm a orc, I call them Kevorkian monkey lizard. And it always throws people off a little bit. Like, what? Kevorkian monkey lizards. So I was like, Kevorkian monkey lizard tree.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to all of those too. I think I have high hopes for Andor. I think it'll be fun to see. Rogue One really does hover up there right among my favorite Star Wars movies. Like on some days it could even be my favorite. Like it's just so well made, it's well acted, it's well written, it's and it's new enough that all the effects are really gorgeous as well.
It's a beautiful
not that I ever disliked the special effects from the original movies, but time moves on. It's tech based. And yeah, it's just so well done. Obviously, it's going to be a prequel. We kind of know it can't end well. It's going to end with
Rose. Character is really cool. I hope nothing ever happens.
Hope nothing ever happens to him. Yeah.
Hope he lives a nice long life and his kids.
I definitely like the idea of seeing something that's sort of, set in that sort of sphere of sort of like like the Resistance, but not focusing in on the Skywalkers and the Force users as sort of the main thing.
I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if a Force walker, Force user or two doesn't walk in once in a while, but who knows? I don't actually know one way or the other, but I'm sure it very likely could happen. But I think it's kind of cool, the idea of actually seeing like how the Resistance is working and what they're doing, and there was plenty of hints about the fact that they had to take some pretty dark turns in order to get anything accomplished under the Empire. And so, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see.
I hope we get a Borg Gullet origin story.
Borg Gullet.
Borg Gullet knows what you see.
That was pretty good. All right. And, yeah, I'm probably even going to give Young Jedi Adventures a whirl,
me too.
I'm sure it'll be fun, even if it's, even if it ends up being kind of aimed at kids or a little too much for my personal taste. Not everything has to be about me, obviously. But it'll be fun to at least check it out and see what they're doing with it. And yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see also like the High Republic era, like what do they do with like these young Jedi? Like, what are the dangers they face, or, what sort of situations do they get into? So yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of this stuff. Let's see. And finally, in the Force feedback, there is going to be a Duck Hunt and Utini 500 coming up. It's not this coming Saturday, but it is a week from Saturday, the 24th of September, 5 p.m. Pacific to 8:30 or so p.m. Pacific. So that'd be like starting 5 p.m. Pacific, but that's like 8 Eastern. Again, that's the 24th of September. It's going to be Republic side. Other details hopefully will come up later, but that's all we could get for right now.
I got a couple.
Oh, you have a couple more now from Duck? Great.
Yeah, it's going to be on the pub side, like you said, and it's going to be on the planet Terrace.
Terrace, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think he mentioned like he was thinking about Terrace last time we did the event. But it's good that that's confirmed. Awesome. So yeah, and if you everyone, you do not have to be in the guild to join. You can, but of course you're welcome to join the guild as well if you want to take part of it. There's going to be, everyone will be on Discord, but if you want to play and not be in the guild, or maybe you just don't want to be on Discord because that's not your thing, you can play via the chat. There you go, join Utini. You'll be in the Utini channel, and then that way he can let everyone know, when the event starts and so on. He will basically, there's usually 2 main events, and then sometimes they do a few other little things, but basically it's usually the Duck Hunt, which basically means Ducky goes out with his character somewhere on Republic side Terrace, and you're going to have to find him, and it takes a while. And then if no one finds him right away, or after a while, he starts whittling it down, saying, okay, I'm not in this area, or whatever, I'm north of this line or whatever. He'll give you little hints, and then eventually, once everyone's found him, then the race starts, the Utini 500, and he will and this will definitely be on the same planet as well. He'll make a little track that everyone has to go around, and everyone does, and it's really fun, actually.
Yeah, it is fun. It's really, really fun. Yeah. And he has some great prizes too.
Yeah, and everyone
really
everyone who participates, like the winners get their first choice, but everyone gets to choose, and it's off a really large list of some pretty amazing stuff. It always includes multiple full sets of armor, multiple weapons, mounts, pets. There's been 14 MK11 kits, which is really expensive to buy if you're not crafting them.
Some great armor sets, like new stuff that's just dropped out of the retail market.
Right. Gold and platinum ones. Really nice stuff.
He goes hard.
He goes hard. Yeah, he goes hard in the paint for sure. It's good stuff. And and I've gotten stuff that I've used for cosplays and stuff from that. Like I said, so if you take first, second, or third from the duck hunt or first, second, or third from the race, you'll get sort of your first choice off the list. But everyone who shows up and participates gets something. So you will definitely come away with something cool, which is awesome. So again, that is the 24th of September, 5 p.m. Pacific, and join Ootini, or just join the guild. You have plenty of time to join the guild, and then you'll be able to do it from the Discord, which is a lot of fun too. All right, is there anything else, Kitty? How about anything coming up for your stream or anything like that?
Kitty Treats and myself are going to do a 12-hour stream in the next couple weeks before the end of the month.
Nice. Okay.
Not sure exactly when, so keep an eye on our social media, and we will let you all know. Ducky also says that they're looking for more people to join for the Jar Jar Joyride, which is every Friday.
Add this to the show notes.
Ducky and Dekion, they get a bunch of people together and they go run operations and story modes, and it's called Jar Jar Joyride because it doesn't matter.
It's super casual.
Just go have fun. It's very casual. Yep. If you've never been in an operation before,
that's okay.
They explain all the fights. If we don't finish, that's okay. If we do finish, all right, great. Very, very laid back and very, very new to operation friendly. So if you're interested in that, there's a link in the show notes under Ootini.com/events. There's a sign up there. Feel free to sign up. You don't have to be in the guild to join along, and it's really, really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, then. That's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Ootini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our
Ootini Rage
Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Ootini to join the Ootini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly, Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, by streaming twitch.tv/OotiniCast. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room.
Thank you, chat.
And we'll see you next show.
Bye, you guys. Thanks for being here.
All right. And we're going to, let's go ahead and do a raid. Let me get over to the dashboard. If there's anyone you see, Kitty, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just pick someone here in a minute.
Zamzam's on again.
Oh, let's go to see Zamzam. It looks like she might be just starting up since she usually has a bigger audience than that. So I'm guessing that it's pretty early in her stream, most likely. Yeah, sounds good. So thank you for coming, and we'll go raid her and have a good one. And there we go.
Hey, everybody.
All right, and let me go say hi to Zamzam, and then we'll do the Audacity bit.
OotiniCast, hello guys. Oh my goodness, hello there. Thanks for the raid. Oh, Blame is quick on that shout out. Thanks for the raid, guys. Hope you had an excellent podcast. Hello there. Have fun. Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much for the raid.
All right.
Thank you so much.
She actually has the Ootini sound as well. All right, so let me stop the stream. Stop the